Carl, give me your bounce back team of the week.
My bounce back team of the week is the University of Iowa. Losing a big game against Iowa State, if you've ever been to the state of Iowa and you know how important that rivalry is, it's huge. And the Hawkeyes don't like losing that game. They have to come out with a very, very renewed confidence. They have to come out and be better offensively. They have been abysmal offensively, but the University of Iowa has to come back this week and play really good football, and they got to get that deal back on track.
Although we shouldn't listen to fans necessarily, Carl. A lot of them are calling for the offensive coordinator, Brian Ferentz, to be let go. A lot of them are calling for Spencer Petras to be sat and start another quarterback. Is it as easy as just, ripping the Band-Aid off on either one of those options?
You have to understand whether people like this or not. Blake has 4 sons, and I have 3. Brian Ferentz is the head coach of Iowa, Kirk Ferentz's son. And there's a lot of guys in a lot of professions throughout the country that have sons that have not panned out in their businesses the way you thought you should, the way you would hope that they would. Can you imagine firing your son and having to go home and have that conversation with your wife? When your son is involved and when family is involved, it's a completely different conversation. All of these youth sports dads should understand this better than anybody when they play their son at shortstop and he boots the ball every play, or when they put their kid in the cleanup spot hidden and he strikes out 3 times. It's a very delicate situation at the University of Iowa. You have to get production out of the offense, no matter what the situation is. But when it's your son in charge, it does change it. People that have kids understand that.
Yeah, Blake, I can't put I can't wrap my mind around what that must be like. A really tough decision to manage what's happening with his son. But this isn't youth. This is big business, college football, millions of dollars on the line. How difficult is that decision for him to make, if that needs to be the correct decision?
Well, I think it'd be a really difficult decision to make. Kurt Ferentz is a legend in Iowa. He's probably the most popular person in the state of Iowa. And so nobody wants to get rid of their son, who's the offensive coordinator, but he is the head coach. He is in charge of the Iowa football team. And the Iowa offense is historically bad right now. They're they're 130th in rushing and passing. So Carl expects them to improve offensively. Yeah, they can't do any worse than they're doing right now. So they definitely will improve. So what my question is whoever's developing the quarterbacks or evaluating quarterbacks, if Iowa wants to run the football, get a dual threat quarterback that can run the football. If that's what you want to be known as a running team, which they are, then get a quarterback that can run as well. And that way you've got an extra player on the field that you have to count for.
Well, Blake, that's not going to help them Saturday because they got to deal with the hand that they have right now. Mm-hmm. And so that is a good recruiting strategy for the future. But man, the Iowa people are really coming after the coaching staff right now, because when you're close to last in the country offensively, there's no nice way to tell someone that they're not doing a great job.
Yeah, along those lines, Kirk Ferentz is the highest paid public employee in the state of Iowa. And earlier this year, he was extended through the 2029 season. Now, although he's not going anywhere, and we've established how unlikely it is that he'll make the tough move to fire his own son, Carl, where is the hope for a turnaround for Iowa fans in the here and now?
Kirk Ferentz has been winning football games at the University of Iowa for a long time. So I have to believe that he's going to get this situation figured out, and he's going to do what is best for the University of Iowa first. He's going to probably do what's best for his family second, but it is a tough situation to be in. I wouldn't want to be in his situation. I would probably not make my son the offensive coordinator in a situation like that. But once you go down that road, you're in it now. There's no easy fix. There's not a mid-season transaction that they can make on the offensive side of the ball. And so they got to band together and figure it out right now. One of the important things about being a football team is you can either point the finger or you can band together and everybody rally around and try to figure out how to find success and how to figure out how to win. It's easy for everybody to point the finger to Brian Ferentz right now and say, you're not doing a great job. But the University of Iowa has a long season and a tough Big Ten schedule. They better figure out some things offensively sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and defensively, they do have a very good squad. They're in the top 10 in the country in defense and total defense. So maybe their defense can be opportunistic like they were last year, return a couple of touchdowns a game. Special teams is going to have to be really good. If you can win two out of the three phases of the game, then maybe the offense can get going a little bit. But it looks like Iowa, who's traditionally an 8-9 wins team every year, it doesn't look great for them this year. It looks like they're probably likely to have a bad season and probably miss a bowl game if you look at the record and who they have to play still.
Well, guys, if everything we just told you wasn't bad enough, there's also this. Former Oklahoma head coach Bob Stoops was paid to make a video for Cameo, not knowing the person he's referencing in the video is actually Brian Ferentz. Take a look.
Hello there, Brian. Bob Stoops here saying hi. And listen, I know you've had a tough couple of 2-3 years there, but the good news is your family still supports you, buddy. Especially your dad. He wants you to know that. But and even though everyone else seems to be against you, sometimes the best advice is to break free from the family business, man. Go do what you got to do. So anyhow, all the best to you and a big boomer sooner, and good luck.
I mean, it's so sincere. He has no idea that that's the Brian. Guys, I mean, somebody paid some good money for that. I think I was looking online. It costs about $250 to get a note from him. I'll start with you, Carl. Worth every penny?
Wow. Bob Stoops, one of the legendary Hawkeyes, himself. Obviously, you would have to think that if he knew that what this was, he wouldn't have participated in it. But it just goes to show you how the college football fans think. College football fans are fanatics about their team, and they want to change. But I am going to side with Kirk Ferentz on this one for now. I think that he gets the ship righted, but that is a crazy video. When I first heard it, I didn't know how Cameo worked, so I thought that Bob made it with knowing. I didn't know what to think at first, but after I got the story that it's it's kind of an anonymous deal, but Iowa's natives are restless right now.
Yeah, Blake, as far as we know, Bob Stoops had no idea who he was actually talking to. Did you enjoy that video?
Yeah, that was pretty smart. Whoever thought of that was smart. And they got the basketball coach to do the same thing, which I thought was even more was really funny as well. But Iowa fans are definitely not happy with how things are going this season, understandably. But I think you can't expect to have a exceptional team every single year. You're gonna have a bad year here and there. They will hopefully get the ship righted here soon. They got a tough schedule ahead of them, but Kirk Ferentz is going to have some tough decisions to make after this season, but he deserves a little bit of leeway. He's done an incredible job at Iowa, and is a man that I respect a lot as a coach and a person.
Blake, here's a question I have for you, as we've been following football for a long time. Does winning as much as Kirk Ferentz has won at Iowa, does that give him the benefit of the doubt now in troubling times? Or does he fall into this new age mentality where as soon as things go a little the other direction, people want you out of there and they start throwing stones? Does he get any reprieve from Iowa from being a tremendous coach for the last 2 decades?
Well, he should. I mean, he's done an incredible job. To me, Iowa overachieves almost every year with the talent that they have on that team compared to some of the teams that they're playing against. So I would give him a pass this season. The season is still young. They have a chance to their goals are still ahead of them, so they could turn this thing around. But offensively, it looks like it's going to be a rough year. I mean, you look at Charlie Jones transferring to Purdue. leading the Big Ten in receiving. So he must have known something before everybody else did. So it looks like it's going to be a tough year for them. But maybe they can get it turned around. But I got, like I said, I have all the respect in the world for Kirk Ferentz, and I will give him a pass for sure. He's done an incredible job at Iowa.
Iowa was just in the Big Ten championship last season against the University of Michigan, a game away from, who knows what happens. So I think that the University of Iowa obviously is in great hands. And then we got to see how the rest of the season plays out. But Kirk Ferentz is Iowa. Probably the only guy more popular than him in the state is the great Dan Gable.
Absolutely. Nobody was questioning that extension when he received it back in January, coming off that Big Ten championship appearance game. Guys, thank you so much for the great discussion here on The Block. Be sure to check us out Monday through Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern on the 24/7 Sports YouTube page. Like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow.